Welcome to the channel, guys. Mr. H here. And before we get started, I would really like you to take a long, hard look at this article. And as I write through this article, as I discuss it all, I want you to consider this as it was talking about being discussed about females, lesbians, homosexuals, people of colour, whatever. Anything but the target of this article. And I want you to ask yourself, truly and honestly, would this be okay? Would this be allowed on the internet? Because if you can truly say yes, well, one, you're a bigot, and secondly, you're stupid. Because no, this would not be allowed on the internet at all. There is no way that this would be allowed on the internet. And as such, in the interest of equality, it shouldn't be allowed on the internet now with this. No way in hell. So let's take a look. Just the headline alone, again, think about it. Now that we've gotten a female Thor, let's topple every pale, male, and stale superhero character we can. So let's topple every straight white male, is what they're saying. And I want you just to say, you know, I'm going to say something now which is probably somewhat offensive, and I'll just preface this, I know that. But the person who is writing this article is this woman here, Katie Roberts. Now, if everyone is allowed just to double down on their bigotry, their complete straw man arguments of, well, you're this, you're that, just because you don't agree with me, you're an incel, you're a basement dweller, then I'm allowed to say, Katie Roberts, again in the interest of equality, that it's no surprise you're writing an article like this, because you look like a misandrist. You look like the stereotypical man-hating feminist lesbian. Why is one okay and one's not? Tell me that. Why? If you're allowed to say that everyone's a basement-dwelling incel just based on their opinions, well, this opinion alone, plus the way you look, makes me think that. So anyway, superhero movies are important. That's not an opinion, it's just true. Wrong. That is an opinion. Because, as we're going to get into this, the next line is literally, it's just a fad. And I don't refute that it's a good fad or anything like that, but it's a fad nonetheless. And with Hollywood at peaks and it troughs, and we've had massive waves of Western movies, fantasy movies, young teen novel movies. There's been a lot. So, no, it's not important. It's currently just a fad. Any wave is important at the time, and it dies off into obscurity. Avengers Endgame is the top box office film of all time, raking in 2.79 billion and watched by millions. Superheroes get bums on seats. Again, it's just a fad. Westerns used to get bums on seats, whilst nothing else did. And sneaking in social justice messages under the radar is a tried and tested way of speaking to the masses. Yeah, it's also a way of alienating people, as per Marvel comic book sales. These stories have always been about underdogs proving their worth, or those who are other finding their place. And the recent wave of heroes who truly reflect these traits is one we should cheer as it builds into a tsunami. Since yesterday's announcement of a female Thor, the internet has blown up with people wailing that the historically straight white male pool of superheroes is being drained for a more diverse roster. But are they wrong? No. And most people's complaints is that it's needless. And also, I mean, I constructed very valid criticism in yesterday's video about this. Just that you're also, from a narrative perspective, how are you going to finish off Thor's arc that he started in Endgame? Many can be safely ignored. I saw one person on social media bemoaning the betrayal of the Norse myths, a complaint curiously absent for Thor Ragnarok. I'd love to know which myth has Jeff Goldblum swanning about in an orgy spaceship. Yeah, true. Give you that. This is the laughable stuff. It's the ostensibly more reasonable complaints of, I don't mind people of colour, female LGBTQ plus characters, but why can't they make their own? This is the argument she has a real issue with. This misandrist. This nettles her, as she says here. Because make no mistake, we are. And then, I'm not going to say it, but she then goes on to plug her own play. That's at, Camden Fringe. Ridiculous, love. Ridiculous. Highlighting my point perfectly. Now, original characters, even the ones created by behemoths like Marvel or DC, have nothing like the attraction of old favourites, meaning we're starting the race seconds before the big boys cross the finish line. Stealing a few of their spots at the front is not only positive, but absolutely necessary. No, it isn't. Also, why do you want hand-me-downs? I repeat this, and I've made this argument a lot, is that Iron Man was not that popular. Was not a popular character until the movies. And again, as evidenced, because the people that read the comics are not the same people that are mass fans and these new fans of the movies. Iron Man was at best like a B-rate superhero. Easily. But Robert Downey Jr.'s performance and the great people at Marvel made a very good film. Thus, Iron Man became popular. Now, because the readers of the comic are not the same ones which go to the movies, you can use the characters that Marvel have already newly created. If you make them cool in the movies, get good actors, make good films, they will become cool. Because it's not the same fan base. It's not the same fan base. So this argument is completely moot. Completely. And if you disagree with me, please tell me why. Again, a perfect example is Iron Man. Tell me why the same can't be done for other people. Because it can. People engage with characters. Just make them good. Quite apart from anything else, it genuinely makes the art better and bigger. It doesn't. No, it doesn't. Not when they're just hand-me-downs. It doesn't, because it comes off as cheap. As evidenced by Marvel comic book sales. They're declining. They have been for a while. So, no, it doesn't. It's, again, evidence right there. Audiences tire of the same old stories told by the same old people with the same old characters just dressed up in different superpowers. In different superpowers. Look at the success of films like Black Panther, Captain Marvel, or the aforementioned Thor Ragnarok, which took a risk, hired a minority director, let him get on with his, frankly, insane ideas and reaped the rewards in the form of a massive box office smash. Fawned over by the critics, likewise, Into the Spider-Verse reimagined Spider-Man as a black teen graffiti artist. No, they did not. Miles Morales has been around for a while, and he is a well-liked character because they made him well-liked in the comics. He is a likable character. So you, Katie, don't even know what you're talking about. That is not true. They didn't just create this new character. They didn't just race swap him. He was an established character in the books because he's a good character. People like him. So you've outed yourself as someone that doesn't have a clue what you're talking about. It's hilarious. It clearly makes for more successful movies with better bottom lines, which a cynic might say is all Hollywood cares about. Well, it is, because Hollywood's a business. Einstein. But secondly, again, when you say here it clearly makes for more successful movies, again, no, it's because the movies were good. Into the Spider-Verse works because it's a good movie, not because the lead is black. That's not why it did well. To say so is, I would say that's mildly racist in and unto itself. It did well because it was a good movie first. But just consider the raw potential harnessed by films seen by millions. Giving audiences superheroes different to themselves normalizes diversity in a way targeted campaigns can only dream of. This is the power of representation. I can't tell you how good it felt to watch women, plural, fight alongside the men in Endgame, and how disappointing it was to have Marvel swerve an on-screen, or it doesn't count, bisexual superhero in the form of Valkyrie, something they have pledged to correct in Phase 4. So yes, let's plunder the male heroes. Ridiculous. And Thor is an excellent place to start. Why? Because he embodies masculinity. That's why. Because he's everything you guys hate, you misandrists. You absolute misandrist. Thor is an excellent place to start. He is a straight white male. He is masculine. He is big. He's buff. Heck, he's even got a beard sometimes. And that terrifies you. Can't have that, can we? Can't have little boys liking that, can we? Oh no. There's a simple mechanism by which someone else can gain his powers, as shown in Endgame with Steve Rogers. Wrong! Steve Rogers did not gain his powers. Because as evident, again, you out yourself as someone who doesn't even watch the movies. I'm not even a Marvel fan and I know this. Fucking idiot. Captain America did not gain his powers. He was just worthy to wield the hammer. As evidenced in the movie you've already discussed, Thor Ragnarok, Thor is the power. He is the power. It channels into him, not via Mjolnir. I know that. And I'm a super casual watcher of the Marvel movies. As someone who is writing this hit piece, and in defense of Marvel, you look like a moron because you don't even know what you're talking about. How could anyone take you seriously? Now it says, plus, Marvel women have a history of relegation to the sappy love interest, or worse, the feisty girl whose only power is the super boyfriend backing her up. Wrong? Black Widow? Nick Fury's sidekick, I forget her name. Peggy Carter? These are not relegated, these are... Oh, Maria Hill, that's the one. Like, picking and choosing what you're choosing to represent here. Jane Foster's a particular victim of this casual misogyny. She spent 2011's Thor demanding S.H.I.E.L.D. give back her life's work. They capitulate when Thor asks. And the sequel, Thor: The Dark World, as a swooning damsel, showing her mettle by giving Loki a good slap while he's in cuffs and Thor is standing right there. Finally, this is a chance for the character to ironically step out of Thor's shadow by taking Thor's mantle. That's hilarious, isn't it? And that should be a call to arms for the rest of us, in front of and behind the cameras. Women directors are few and far between. Oh, here we go. Here we go. You're going to demand more female directors, right? Okay. There will be when there's more of them, and they're equally as good as the copious amounts of male directors that are out there. This whole equality of outcome and equality of opportunity and things like this. Oh, seriously. You are just the worst person. And are only just starting to helm blockbuster films without a single female lead, with Chloe Zhao directing The Eternals. We're stepping out of the shadows, and if we can step on our male predecessors along the way, all the better. So you are a misandrist. We're stepping out of the shadows, that's fine. Good statement. But then you let yourself down. And if we can step on our male predecessors along the way, all the better. Can you imagine if this was framed any other way? All about black people, all about lesbians, all about LGBTQ+, all about women. It would not be allowed. Why? Because it's okay currently to hate on men. And a lot of people say, Mr. H, you're being overtly negative nowadays. You're just being ridiculously negative. No, this is industry news. And unfortunately, we're in the throes of, misandrists, basically. And I feel it's important because I've taught a lot of people the misandrist word as well, by the way. A lot of people didn't even know what that word was, as evidenced by copious amounts of comments. If there's not a counter-narrative to these things, then you just allow people to go away unchecked. These kind of comments should not be allowed. This is a disgrace. But The Independent is widely known as being a disgraceful piece of crap anyway, because The Independent is the same one which published the absolute fabricated lies about Alita Battle Angel, saying that all the fans were alt-right. Yeah, everyone's an alt-right. We love this Latin American motion capture star playing a Japanese character with, again, a Latin American director and, black characters and all this. The alt-right really loves all of that. Fuck me. Laughable. So I thought I'd bring you this news. What do you think? let me know down below. I know I've gone on quite a long time on this one, but I feel this is important. Like I said, those that think I'm overtly negative, just stop watching these videos, okay? I still produce the explained videos, and I still love producing them. I really, really do. But this is industry news, and it's really, really important that we have the counter opinion just to balance it all out. Because if not, you allow this kind of behavior to go without any question, and that's dangerous, I think, genuinely. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. If you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe. Thank you very much, ma'am, for leaving a like, leaving a share, subscribing, all of that good stuff. Thank you very much. I've been Mr. H. Take care.